أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Inshallah it will come. Okay, there it is. So we have been studying Surah Al-Maun, small kindnesses. أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين. Have you seen the one who denies the deen? فذلك الذي يدعو اليتيم. That is the one who repulses the orphan. ولا يحض على طعام المسكين. And does not encourage the feeding of the needy. فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. Woe then to those who do salat, الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ, who are heedless of their salat, الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ, those who do things only to be seen by others, وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاءُونَ, and refuse even small kindnesses. Last week we talked about what deen is, رَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ, and we mentioned the form of the sentence sounding as if, like in astonishment, you're showing someone and saying that, have you seen the one who is denying the deen? And we talked about deen as in the revelational order of the word refers more so to that being indebted to, rather than taking things for granted and saying that, yeah, I deserve or I own myself or the qualities that are on me, but it's more like I am given, I am not entitled. Nobody is like owing me life, owing me sight, hearing, or anything of that sort. So denying the deen in this sense means I think things are mine, or things do not have any owner. I landed my hand on it the first, so it's now mine. Nobody can dispute me with the ownership of that, which pretty much applies to any of the things that a human has or given. So just the fact that denying the fact that it is given to me or it is being given to me. Then we ask those questions. Who is it that denies the deen? Do I deny deen? We talked about these questions. And in our life, what does that mean? So we were focusing more on that end. And then فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُ الْيَتِيمِ. So now comes further description of the one who denies deen, like further descriptions. Now, Quran is saying that you know what it might mean, but let me tell you the ones who they are. So denying the deen, those are the ones who repulses the orphan. And we ask the question, who is orphan? Who repulses orphan? And how is it related to denying deen? And also, وَلَا يَحُضُّ عَلَىٰ طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. So there's this word miskin here. So we talked about yatim. And at this part, we did it a little quick, but if you have any comments, we can talk about them. Otherwise, I will continue with the next one. وَلَا يَحُضُّ عَلَىٰ طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ, and does not encourage the feeding of the needy, al-miskin. So we ask the question, who is needy? And what is the food for needy? Because ta'amil miskin, feeding of the needy, how is it related to denying the deen? These were the questions we discussed last time. This part might have been a little quick, but do you have any comments regarding this second part? Since I am very frequently forgetting what I spoke last time.
I don't remember discussing this. Did we discuss this?
Did we discuss this?
I thought we just discussed the first verse.
Okay, so,
Yeah, I don't think we can talk about it.
so note taker, what was it?
I was in here last.
Oh, you were not here, okay. Okay, let me see if in the online anybody's going to say anything. So from online, if there's any comment, yeah. Okay, so I remember mentioning that we talked about yatim before.
Yeah.
Before in what?
Which surah was it?
Duha.
Duha wa duha.
Yeah, we found you an orphan and then.
Oh yeah, we found you orphan. Okay, yatim was there.
No, we discussed this. It was just like you said it in like the last like 5 minutes.
Okay,
Yeah.
then let's discuss it here. Within this context, let's bring what we discussed about yatim when we were studying duha,
Mhm.
and how does it relate to denying deen. Let's talk about that. So who was orphan as we discussed at duha? Dua, you.
I think that I think the same definition can apply. So an orphan is anyone who you don't think has an owner, right? So you're like, okay, like this tree doesn't have an owner, it's an orphan, or this person's parents died, so they don't have an owner, so they're an orphan. So you mistreat it because you don't think anybody's going to hold you accountable. So I think it's the same sense over here. The one who repulses the orphan. So why would you repulse an orphan, right? If you thought it was like the king's child coming to you for help, you'd be like, oh, let me treat him royally. Let me give him the best cup to drink from. So I might be rewarded. But when you see that it's an orphan's child or it's your maid's child, you're like, nobody's going to hold me accountable. So let me repulse him. So it's because you don't think that they have an owner. And when you don't think they have an owner, it ties to you denying the deen, as we talked about last time.
So then literally an orphan is a person whose parents has passed away, so they don't have any protector.
Yeah.
They are vulnerable to any sort of abuse. So, and then repulsing the orphan comes for seeking for any help, or like even you're ignoring the person as if pretending as if the person is not there, because as you said, like if it was a king's son, then I would take it as a golden opportunity for me. But now if it is like somebody whose parent has already passed away and like I don't have any gain in there, or that person is valueless because you take value according to who you are tied to. Like you are either by yourself valuable, or you're valuable because of your parents, because of your clan, because something that you are connected to. An orphan is the one who is detached from that valuable relationship. So I do see things as orphan and dismiss them. Or do I? What are the orphans who repulses orphan? Do you ever repulse orphan? There was an orphan mosquito and I was trying to chase it. So, yes, anyone here who repulses orphans as a habit? Okay,
I did.
bad guy, go ahead.
I was gonna wait till the next time, but last week I did it. After discussion, there was a homeless dude. He came knocking on the door. So I opened, I'm like, hey, what's up, dude? You need something? He's like, he didn't say anything. He said, tell me, get the person in charge. He didn't even answer my question. I asked a nice question. Like you have a need. You came here with a need. He wants to find the person in charge. I'm like, there's nobody in charge.
Was it here?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's nobody in charge. Sorry, he's not here right now. He's like, he's not moving. Well, yeah, he's find me the person in charge. Sorry, bro, there's nobody in charge. And we just have a little Mexican standoff for like 5 seconds, which is like 5 minutes in my head, right? So I'm like, you don't want to tell me what you need, you want to find a person in charge. There is none of this. We've reached, a wall. And so I just closed the door on him.
I see.
And so I repulsed the poor needy orphan, and we just studied these verses.
Very nice.
I sent him, by the way.
He probably is.
Still or last?
No. But he was upset. So then after I closed the door on him, you know, he rang the bell again. The one kid came and opened the door. I'm like, don't open it. He opened it anyways, and he started like yelling, you know, like, yo, tell that guy if I see him, man, it's not gonna be nice and this and that, and then he left.
I see.
So I don't know if I'm in the wrong here.
Okay.
Most likely.
But it also looks like he dismissed you, like
Maybe.
seeing you as a not official person.
Maybe.
He considered you to be an orphan, saying that this guy is.
Absolutely, he was right.
Okay, so that's an interesting encounter.
Which explains the time too.
Yeah, just trying to appear more important.
No. Violence. That's his violent.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, okay, yes.
I remember something we talked about last time, which also ties to this ownership thing, which was basically taking the definition of deen to be, we normally understand it in Fatiha, which is the day of judgment.
Hmm.
It's like it's about, like denying the day of judgment. And we said that, like if you see gold somewhere, you will run to take it. And, somebody's like, hey, don't take this gold. You'll be like, why? It doesn't really have an owner, so it's mine. I don't fear any consequences.
Mhm.
So basically, not fearing consequences means that you don't think something has an owner, right? Like if you're trespassing, you don't fear the consequences, hence you don't think that property has an owner. Similarly, if you don't fear the consequences of your actions, if you don't fear the day of judgment, if you don't believe in akhirah, then you essentially don't think that Allah is the owner of this world or your owner. And then this directly ties into this verse, that is the one who repulses the orphan, meaning that person is also the one who doesn't think that orphan has an owner. So
So, as I do not have any owner, I apply this to other things and consider other things as not having any owner. So I start mistreating them because since I don't have any owner, Atik doesn't have any owner either, which means I can beat him up if I am stronger than him too. Right? Yes.
I guess another kind of idea I had about like what it means to repulse an orphan is the idea of the concept of being wasteful of things. Like, for example, if I know we talked a lot last time in sort of the book about going to the supermarket and buying a banana and acting as if, oh, I've come here with my own power. I'm using my own money to buy this banana, which is now mine. And so now I can eat it, I can let it sit and rot away. It doesn't matter because, as we've all been saying, there's no owner. Or like, I know another example, like maybe in the hadith is about there was one about like a river where if you even if there's a river full of water, I think the point was just using enough that you need for yourself.
Yeah.
So that I feel like that has resonated with me a lot as well. Like things that we think of that are in abundance that we think are just, there for us to take, are actually have an owner and they're dealt out in precise measure. And so being one who repulses an orphan is taking all of that out of balance and wasting. I guess environmental stuff could come into play there too, as it treating everything as if there's not a balance.
So what would be a proper way? Let's take it literal for now so that maybe it can help us understand better. What would be the best way to treat an orphan? Let's say some child comes in and you know that the child's father just passed away. How would you treat that child? Compassion? Or to?
Depends on, I guess, what the orphan, because your capacity first, right? Whatever your capacity is.
Now, at your best, how would you do it?
On my best.
As a student who has just barely 2K income per month and whatnot.
Yeah, I think that it would just be a matter of whatever's on my hand, right? Somebody might come and ask if I'm holding something, then it's unaccountable. The other part is dua. You can just do off with that person because there's nothing you can do or that I think I can do at that moment. So the better thing I think is to ask the one who has brought this person.
Okay.
guess something that, and this is something I've seen this person do, he uploads videos on YouTube of him like doing the things that normally like fathers teach you to do. So like fixing like some plumbing, like fixing your car, that sort of thing. And he basically like tries to help out people who have lost their father, and who can't do those things with their dad. So I guess like the ideal thing for a community to do would be to step in and sort of like help with the upbringing of that child the way their father.
I see. Very nice. So in this case, father is missing,
Mhm,
but you're trying to fill the missing part so that the child doesn't feel it.
mhm.
Yeah, I guess similarly along those lines, like maybe teaching the child that even if you perceive this like as a loss, you're not like truly alone, like teaching the child that there is like an absolute owner of all things and sustainer. And like it's also good to like, you know, encourage like community involvement and stuff too. But it's like interesting. I feel like in like a situation of death, we like tend to like try to jump in with like, oh, is there anything material I can do, like providing wealth, providing like material support, and like also like maybe also doing the law. But I feel like, I don't know, with the way we've kind of been discussing things in class, like shouldn't like teaching the child to rely on the creator be like the best possible. I know it's
I
not.
have a question, I don't know. Are we talking about, like, you said, take it in this context, right, like just the literal context?
Yeah, for now, just literally. Maybe it can help us understand alternative meanings, but literally, yeah.
I guess my top question is, like, the way orphans, I mean, I can't even think of orphans in the US, I think maybe that's my problem, like, I can imagine it in Ethiopian context, how it would work if somebody became an orphan all of a sudden, because usually, like, whoever's family member you are, one of them will take you in, like, regardless, but in the US context, honestly, I don't know.
I mean, actually, this is also a good point. This is a good point because taking it exclusively literal wouldn't be possible for the US context because we don't see much, right?
Yeah. so I don't really know.
Taking it exclusively literal really shrinks the meaning of the verse, makes it inapplicable in many setups. That's right. I agree with that.
And also, when we think of orphan, are we like, if they're an adult, but they lost their parent when they're, like, how does that work? You know, like, then people who are homeless, are they orphans? Like, I don't know. So that's
Okay.
my question.
That's good.
Yeah.
These are all good points. Very good. Any comment?
Yeah.
Yes.
In the US, you have like foster care or even like adoption. That's true everywhere. And that's when you sort of like, and I guess like that, if applied to, I mean, a lot of people like foster or adopt because like they are missing a child. So they try to fill that gap in their own lives instead of trying to fill this gap in the child's life. But I guess the way you should ideally see it is that, you know, like that person does have an owner. And so you should take care of him because that owner is also the one who is sustaining you and taking care of you.
Mhm. That's good. Yes. I had a friend when I was growing up whose father passed away because of cancer. So he was my classmate, like in the fourth grade or so, third grade, fourth grade.
Mhm.
So, of course, there's this missing component in his life. And the community was trying to make him not feel that missing component. So they tried to fill that gap for him because he was in need of support so that he doesn't feel or be seen by the society as an orphan. Like that is part was trying to be filled. Otherwise, the alternative is to just abuse that child, and since he's vulnerable, just try to make to your own benefits how to use that child, right? So in this case, the question is then, which is very beautifully Dorothy pointed, who are orphans in this society? Because we don't see many of them. How do I make it applicable? Because we said it's like getting detached from the parents. So do I see things as orphan, like things that do not have any protector, that do not have any owner? And once I start seeing them as such, for example, you see a certain group of people and you think that they are less developed, but we are more developed and we are stronger than them. So we define, and they don't have any rights, and nobody's going to claim for them because we are the stronger hand. I can go and abuse them, like get their underground resources, get their land, do whatever I want to do with them. And if somebody asks, I'm going to be the rightful owner or the strong one. I'm treating them as if they don't have any owner. Because normally, why did my community, if they were aware, which they were, take care of this orphan brother of mine? They knew that he has a creator, and his creator is my creator. He's treating both of us equally as creation. So helping to him was a means for us to remember our creator. He was not literally an orphan, like, yes, he was an orphan from his father, but he was not ownerless, protectorless. His creator was the protector, his protector was the owner. With this consciousness, because of getting to know his maker, his creator, you wouldn't abuse that child. If there was no maker, no creator, why wouldn't you abuse the child, right? I mean, that orphan, because it's free resource. Like, why do people go and conquer some land which has diamonds as the underground resources, especially if it's in somewhere in Africa? They're not able to protect themselves. Just go there, bring there some democracy or something. Just there are a lot of excuses, right? Or make them more civilized, but then get all those underground resources. This is what a sane person would do if there is no owner and nobody is going to be look after that person. So if you don't have any responsibility, if you don't have any consequences, if you deny the deen, this is the most reasonable thing to do. If there's no deen, if we're not indebted to anyone, if there's no owner of that people, that land, or even as Zareen was giving the example, if it is a simple fruit, and you say, I paid for it, or it's a cup of water. I mean, the example you gave is very interesting. Prophet says, do not waste water when you are taking wudu in the river. Like, you take water, it goes back to river. How can you waste water when you are taking wudu in the river? It's going back to river, right? You're not reducing the amount of water there. But if you are not mindful about that this river has an owner, and the owner of this river is not next generations. The owner of the river is the creator of the river. I am responsible towards the creator of the river. Because at best, what do? We say, oh, protect the environment because it belongs to the next generation. So this is our understanding of being conscious. But no, I am responsible to the owner of the river who is giving me the river right now. I need to be conscious. So even if I am very frugally using the water, meaning literally not wasting it, if I am wasting it in the sense that I waste the acknowledgement that it's coming from someone, I already wasted that opportunity. I am, by even saying that you don't have an owner, I already treated it as an orphan. So child comes in here. By just being ignorant to the child, I dismiss the child. I don't need to go and abuse the child physically. The child comes in and I pretend as if nobody entered the room. I keep talking to Kadir. I treated the child disrespectfully because I thought that, well, I mean, he's no one, really. That water is no one in my world. Yeah.
What if you can't help the person, so that's why you avoid the person? Would that be wrong as well?
Say it again.
For example, an orphan comes in and you know it's an orphan, but you know you can't help that person and you still avoid them. Would that be disrespectful as well?
So this is more about, I mean, this is a nice practical question, but in your world, where does it fit? Do you dismiss the person because you don't give any value to that person? Because at least even smiling at the face of this child would be your charity. So even if it's physically not being able to, you can just by smiling. That's why Rasulullah mentioned smiling as part of sadaqah. You're saying that even I don't own this smile and good feelings, it's being given to me, and now I'm reflecting it to you. So this is why it's sadaqah. You are confirming that even this good act belongs to the owner, not to you. So even that's possible. But yeah, treating the existence as orphans is what we are doing. We treat the whole existence, and it's a direct consequence of denying the deen. Any further comments, questions? Go
I
ahead.
have maybe another possible understanding, which is, understanding, maybe we mentioned, understanding oneself as the orphan, maybe we repulse the idea that we ourselves are an orphan, that we are in need of something, that we do not encourage the feeding of the needs within ourselves, right? We don't value the prayer, we don't see it as a need, and so we don't feed maybe that aspect that the prayer is linked to. So that's one possible.
That's good. Just looking at it at the more central sense. How do I treat myself as an orphan and I repulse the self that's in here? Because it looks like if I take a side of me, which is constantly asking for a source, asking for help from someone, and I shut off that side of me saying that, no, you are strong, or I hate the weak self in me. Like, have you seen people who are being super upset when they couldn't achieve something? Why is that? How dare I am so weak? Like, I hate myself when I cannot achieve something because I am hating this loser side of me. But loser side of me is actually a genuine side of me, which is showing that I am needy. That loser, needy side is supposed to be used as a means for asking from the Creator. It's a good opportunity to say that, yes, this is my reality. I am a loser. I am a needy one. With that, I should be turning to Him. But rather, I say, I get very upset when I do not achieve something that I do expect myself to achieve, and I become angry with that self. Jazakallah khair. Very beautiful. وَلَا يَهُضُّ عَلَىٰ طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. So needy. About neediness. We talked about neediness before as well. So what is the need? Literally, this is generally understood as the food or shelter, like the basic needs of human. But now we can expand it to the rest of the existence. What does it mean that I do not encourage needy? Yes, everything we said could be applied to here too. If no comments, I can quickly wrap it up with the words I have. But if not, I'll be more than happy to listen. Silence. Okay, so let's move quickly. Miskin in this sense is not necessarily only the need of food, but the whole existence is needy of being given existence by the Creator. I am in need of being given sight, being given eye, being given colors. But as if I'm denying that aspect and I'm trying to be, no, I am strong. I find the truth by myself. My eyes are seeing, light is coming. So this sort of needs being provided by someone, I want to forget about that, but just say that, no, things are there, happen to be. So, yes, Brother Birkan, go ahead.
I was being.
Why you open your mouth? Something was coming out.
So I was trying to get the structure better,
Okay.
because like if we take the machine this way, and what is the and why I should be
Encourage.
being so ready to feed.
Mhm.
I don't have an answer. I'm just
Okay.
I'm just trying to understand.
I guess this reminds me of like how when like people see people begging, they don't take that like nicely, like there is that like aspect of like, why isn't he working? Why isn't he working hard? Why is he spreading his hands and asking for help? Like the best people or the best needy people are the ones who are, like working or selling something. And it's just, because like this is reminding me of how like neediness is an admittance that you can't do it on your own, like you need help. So it is admitting that fact. And I guess people just don't like that, like because it's like when you see yourself working hard and somebody else is begging, like it disturbs you, like they're not doing anything and they're just getting it. So it's almost that sort of like, of course, they're needy, therefore, so you don't really realize that it's jealousy, but it's coming from that place of like, like, why don't I get it from like not working? Why do I have to work hard? So it's like almost that reliance of themselves. So this is reminding me of how like they do not encourage anything other than self-reliance.
Very nice. Jazakallah khair. So that's good. Then we are now questioning, what is it that makes me not encourage the feeding of needy? And it's mostly because I think they should work and they should earn as well, which means I do work and I earn myself. Like my successes are my rightful outcomes. I earned them. And you, poor guy, you have to go and work as well to earn your own livelihood. It will be yours. Yes, question there.
Yeah, I guess the question is like, okay, so I understand the perspective, but I'm also thinking like, you're right, within the US, I agree. I agree that like the way I got reprogrammed was like, well, if somebody's not working, what if they're dangerous, right? Like what if that person is dangerous? Because that is a possibility. What if that person is provoking you? But they're also needy, but then the minute you don't respond in the unexpected way, it almost becomes like a complete opposite direction. So there's that aspect of like, how do you approach neediness if it's at the risk of your own safety, right? Like, I think that's what I consider really needed context versus like, it's kind of common. It's actually, nobody has that mindset. It's almost like you leave a food aside every day because somebody's gonna knock at your, like they go down the street and you expect it in the morning, you just go and give it and you close your door. So I didn't have that mindset, but like it completely changed here. So that's why I guess there's a difference even in neediness between countries. So
I agree with that, but is there any example of neediness that you think of, not necessarily food, that you shun away from? Like there is someone who is needy of a friend, of being asked, how are you, or something, but you don't do that. No? Very helpful person.
Do you have any siblings?
yeah.
Are they like a younger?
Oh, I'm so not nice. Yeah, I disagree. Yes, there are many people I deny.
I'm not going to talk about the way you treat them. So what happens usually between siblings, especially with like in families like yours, one of them being successful like yourself, like you're a student and so on, coming here studying. When one of your siblings or more of them are not as successful as you are, and not maybe even working, just sitting at home, just they're eating the food, wasting the space, even after let's say 18 years old, 20 years old.
Parasite to the family.
Exactly.
This is how you look at it.
So, which is very common, let's be honest to ourselves. The way you usually approach is that you get angry because you achieved all these by hard working and you deserve where you are right now, and they don't deserve the compassion and the mercy of your parents, although your parents still taking care of them.
You don't feel that?
Too young for that.
Okay. Any other parasite within your neighborhood? It might be friend circle, somebody who is constantly in need of, like, you feel like I will talk to that guy, but I am really choosing which sentence to use because that person is ready to get offended. And I mean, this is the type of things that I am I'm struggling with the most, yes.
I just, the emotion count, somebody who's always sad, like,
Okay,
I turn away, just cause I'm like, you can get out of this sadness, like, I feel like that's maybe where I'm horrible is like.
that person is draining everybody's energy.
So I'm like, well, I'm gonna be sad with you, so like, if I keep this up, so I feel like it's, maybe that's where I.
Okay, some attention seeker, yes, okay.
I'm thinking even our parents, like when they're like bad with technology, and they need our help constantly. It's like you help them twice, but then the third time you're like, really, like it's not that hard. Just go on YouTube and learn this, So it's just that annoyance, that thinking that, like I can work technology because I'm smarter and, just taking that for granted.
Okay, we have a parent online, so, okay, is there in what do you think? Okay, any comments? So it looks like, yeah, go ahead.
Where do you draw the line for the feeding of the need? Like you see people needy, but then you should know that you need to focus on yourself as well. Like you can see that as well. Like, is there a need to be a line to be drawn, or like do you just
Yeah.
help the needy?
So I guess the more important point, as far as I see here, is how do I treat someone who is needy, and what is the feeling in me that says me to stay away from that needy person? And that, let's say, constantly sad person is a good example, because I do see some people in my life which repetitively occurs, and I am very horrible with dealing with that type of personality. And I started avoiding that personality because I know that once I interact with it, a fire is eventually going to start. So, but what makes me think or to stay away from that person might be in need of constant attention from people. Like there are such people, right? They always want attention. There might be some people who are constantly in need of respect, in need of being pampered by someone, in need of, like, needs are infinite. But when I see this, I say, how dare you want it? How dare you are asking for that? Is being my attitude sometimes. I mean, you're not supposed to be expecting it.
But is it wrong if you know? If you know, you don't have to get along with everybody. If you know it's gonna be a bad situation, why not avoid, right? You are avoiding a negative outcome. You can analyze the situation and your own reaction to them separately without causing a problem, right?
Okay,
You can introspect without having to,
cause a fire.
yeah.
So then let's go back to the verse. It is talking about Yahud ala ta'amil miskin, who is not encouraging. So I'm not trying to, or not encouraging me to fix that.
So it says do not encourage the feeding. So that doesn't mean that you yourself have to feed them, but you can encourage someone else who's better suited for the job.
There was this parenthesis, the self. I took it from one of the translations. They were saying that this, because of the form of the word, it turns to the self. So this is why I put that. Somebody did this interpretation too, saying that this verb goes back to the self. So,
I guess I have this question. It's like, so you're giving money to somebody, right? And at some point, like they keep asking and you start to get annoyed and you're like, like, what's going on? At that point, right? You think you are the one giving the money, right? So maybe at first it started with, oh, it's Allah's money I'm giving, but when you're annoyed, then you think it's your money. At that point, should you stop giving because you think it's yours? Or should you give more to try and retrain your nerves?
okay. Good. So let me give you another example.
Yeah.
A friend of mine in need of job at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, like coming from a good family and whatnot, but he has some issues with his father. So he is in need of a support. But that support I cannot offer to him either, because like I'm not running a business. My father does, but my father said, I said, could we offer him a job? He said, then you two will become bad friends, because like in the job, they're not treating everybody nicely. So we better not get into that business. But whatever, I tried that path, it didn't work out. But still, that person is in need of some sort of a support, which is beyond my reach. So what can I do? There are multiple ways. One is I am just escaping from starting the conversation. And not that I think he shouldn't be helped, but I'm just avoiding the scene because I feel like I'm going to be upset. because it's beyond my power. One is just saying that, no, go and find yourself a bird, which is even the more horrible way of doing it. But what else could be done? Could it be, and I couldn't practice this properly, but could it be that trying to read the scene and what's happening, this person is needy, and what does this neediness tell to him and to me as well? Because there's a practical aspect of it, that's right. And this person thinks that if he finds a job, he's going to be happy. So that practical problem somehow needs a solution, that's right. But beyond that practical problem, this setup is being created for a purpose, to get to know my purpose in life, my creator. So in this sense, what does it serve? This could have been an aspect that I would attempt to relate to with that person, saying that, well, look, dear, I'm not able to find you a job, but let's try to see what's going on in here. Because a few months back, I met with this friend as well. This time he's having, again, some family issues and whatnot. And of course, I cannot solve his family problems. But shall I again escape and leave the scene, or sit together with him and try to say that, look, like family issues I have in my life, you have in your life. Let's try to make sense of these family issues. Maybe the problem is not simply solving the problem itself, but my mindset of how I understand family is the reason, is the core problem that leads to this family issue. Maybe if I fix my understanding of what it means to treat others well, quote unquote, for the sake of God, maybe this is very messing things up. Let's try to reconsider that portion. This is something that I can communicate with that person, for instance. But I was avoiding that. You had a comment there, Zarin?
I was actually wondering about maybe sort of like I guess kind of the reverse, because I guess when we're using this framework to like ask who is needy, like everyone, like all the existence is needy, right? But practically in my daily life, I don't really see it that way. Like I wouldn't consider, like on like instinct, I wouldn't consider my supervisor who like makes a ton of money and like lives in a nice apartment as like needy. So I was wondering, like,
Like supervisors don't make a lot of money.
but well, yeah, anyone like, for example, like billionaires who have like a ton of like physical like money. Like I feel like we've been like thinking about, people who physically are like appear to be needy in terms of like maybe wealth or like some other like emotional aspect. But I was wondering if this verse could also apply to like, like orphans, in the sense that although they might have like material wealth, they're like still detached like from the creator, because obviously to accumulate all that much you have to be in that mindset. And are they not also needy? So it's like, is it also talking, like, how do you kind of bridge the understanding that like, everyone is needy, but when we think of need, we kind of jump to like the
Material.
yeah.
And we can expand that need in us, that's right. So as for human, what is the biggest need? I mean, let's put material needs aside, like air, water, and a little bit of bread, which should be sufficient for you to live, right? So what else? What is the most fundamental need of human?
Freedom.
Freedom,
Eternity.
eternity, iman,
Peace of mind,
peace of mind,
food,
food.
family.
Okay, food for stomach, that's right. Why am I here? Like the purpose, meaning in life, or where am I going with eternity? Like these are so fundamental questions in my life. If you put a lot of food in front of me, if you give me all the comforts of life, but you take away the meaning and purpose in life. I mean, Nursi gives that example of a person who is in the death row, and the person sees that like down the road, 3 days later, they're going to hang him. And every day they are hanging someone, like from the window of the prison. He sees that every day they are hanging someone. And for that person, you just put the best of the food in front of that person. Like for a human, it's just, he would say, are you like mocking me, making fun of me? What, as if in the story of this, what is it, the witch who is feeding the children,
Oh, yeah,
Hansel and Gretel, with good candies and whatnot, so that they become big and then she's going to cook them. What is the point of this life and existence then? Every day I am getting one step closer to being killed. Every day people are being killed and they're being shown to me. Sometimes you put them into grave if they're your relatives. The one who gives death to them says that, look, I'm not doing it in secret, in front of your eyes. I kill them and I ask you to bury them. Like this is how they did it in those horrible war crimes. They kill someone, like the child of someone, in front of them, and then make their father to bury them. How cruel it is, right? Isn't this how we are living? Like your relatives are dying, and the Creator says, bury them. You bury them. It looks very cruel if you take it as such. So, what is the purpose of this existence? Is the biggest need of me or of anyone. So do I look for that need too? If we take, especially in this regard, which is a totally different perspective now, denying deen, or like, it's not that, oh, I am lucky to be born in a Muslim family. I am given an environment. I am expected to seek for guidance. And whatever extent of guidance I am given, there are a lot of people out there who are in need of that guidance. Do I go, or am I having this desire to help those people? Or I am saying that, oh, I mean, these are kuffar anyway, just stay away, try to fix yourself, protect yourself. What is my mindset? So staying away from a certain group of people, let them be from X religion, Y nationality, and whatever, saying that they're already two-step, both foot in the hell anyways, just stay away from them. Isn't it, if I take deen in the sense of me being provided with guidance, isn't it again applying to the same thing? I am denying the fact that I am given guidance. Because the idea that I am lucky to be born in a Muslim country, because God knew that I was going to be a good guy. This is why He created me in there, as if inherently I had some good values. This is why God said that, okay, you're a good guy, you deserve that religion, so I give it to you, as if I am entitled to be given such a thing. It's again a different way of denying the deen. Deen in the sense of I am given, I am indebted to the one who gave guidance to me. I cannot be boastful about or proud saying that I found the truth, which might be another way to take it. Yes.
I definitely see tons of spiritually needy people around me, but they themselves reject their own hunger. So you can't feed them. They're not asking.
You also reject most of the time.
Absolutely.
But you are still
I
provided.
can't help people. I can't even help myself.
Clearly, what I mean, when it comes to our relationship with the Creator, it's always one way. Not that, we deserve something and we are given, or we earn something and we are given. We are just given, and most of the times, even without asking, at least consciously, most of the time, even without appreciating, most of the time, even actively saying that, no, I don't want this, I don't need this, you are still being given. So if you understand that you are being given because there was a need, and you appreciate this cycle, need and providing, then you would be happy, you would be so encouraged, ready to attack when you see another needy person.
So then could we say that if I truly understand how needy that person, in this case spiritually, like if you were seeing some child starving in front of the door, since you know how bad it is to be hungry, even if you have a small piece of bread or something, I mean, the child accepts or not is a secondary issue at this moment. But you would love to give that bread to that child. And if the child keeps refusing, you will try to do something with that, at least put that effort in there. Like once we had this blind bird, which fell right next to the trash in front of our house. Bird doesn't see, doesn't know who is coming. So if you approach, bird wants to escape. But you know that the bird is going to get crushed there somehow. But you want to feed the bird, you want to give water and food to the bird. So what can you do? The bird is detached from the world because no eyes. So you say that, okay, this bird thinks that I'm an enemy, a threat to the bird. I don't know its language, I don't know how to approach. But you would, like, out of this mercy given to you, you are trying to make your best to, without making the bird afraid, put a water next to it, put some food next to its mouth so that it can feed. Rather than saying that, oh, it's just done deal. There's a blind bird, it's going to die anyways. Let's not put any effort in there. And then some passerby comes and says, oh, tries, oh, look at this little. And then I would say, no, don't touch it. It's sick. So stay away, which happened. My wife was trying to take care of the bird. Some passerby came and said, oh, it's a sick bird. It can make you, sick too. Just stay away from the bird. So in terms of the spiritual need or lack of iman at someone, you know that that person is suffering, yet the person himself might be just that detached person from reality and considering you as a threat. But what would be my attitude? Do I take it as, oof, forget about these type of people? Or try to at least find a way, or at the very least, feel that like sorriness in my heart. I guess this is the thing.
This is how it happens with children as well, right? Until a certain age, they don't know when they are hungry. They have all the urge, and this certain age is not like 6 months or so, even like until 5 years. So they know they're hungry. I mean, there's something wrong there, but sometimes they don't know what is needed. Up until you understand and feed them, usually forcefully, and because they would think that they need something else. So they are hungry, but they think they need to eat chocolate.
What is he saying?
Or
Force Iman on people?
no, but
Version of the street.
yes, that's what I mean. So the same thing with most of us, when we have a fundamental need, like iman, the gap we try to fill with certain other things that would harm our health, harm ourselves. So when you realize that, just like your own child, you don't say, okay, let him or let her do whatever they want, let them eat chocolate or cry the whole day. You just try to convince them, make it a joke, play a game, and so on, until the food is in their mouth.
Actually, once when I was at undergrad, there came the news of someone from our school, our university, being killed in a fight. So in one of the shore cities. So that boy and his girlfriend was there, and they get into some fights, and he was trying to protect his girlfriend, or maybe I'm not sure about the nature of the fight, because sometimes males fight for the girls, but he got killed with knife. So when I heard this, probably I made a not nice comment about it, saying that, oh, the guy went to hell, or some like heedless comment I made. A brother back then reminded me, saying that you should feel sorry for this person passing away without hearing the proper understanding of the purpose of life and whatnot, and just dying because in general, in the shore parts of Turkey, people go there to have like fun and whatnot. Like at that young age, if you are there, you are not doing proper things anyways. So he said you should be feeling sorry for that person passing away without hearing the proper message, rather than saying that, oh, one less dirty creature from earth, sort of an attitude. Like this attitude is a sick attitude, which is similar to like Yahud ala ta'amil miskin. I should have been on the other end saying that no matter what that person is acting, thinking, behaving, trying to provide with that person because of the need that I see in that person.
I even hear people being like when like a Muslim person dies, you put it on your story and you're like, oh, please pray for their maghfirah and whatnot. And it's like when a Christian person dies and you do that, or like any person who's not Muslim, it's like, why would I pray for them? Like they're not Muslim. It's like,
I mean, they
what are
did
you
it.
talking about?
When
think
they're
there's a
alive
link
or
of
when they're
that.
dead.
What?
You pray for them while they're.
Yeah, but you as a Muslim can pray for them because you
Pray for them when they're dead?
No, you
yeah,
cannot.
they're praying for their maghfirah.
Whoa, nah.
No, it is not allowed.
Okay, we opened another can of worms.
There's a beat on it.
Okay, what was it? You were making a comment.
I was gonna say, and when you see that person in front of you, you should also be seeing that you are needy just as that person is needy in that moment. But like what Khan was saying, is that need was fulfilled even without you asking for it. But you had that same need, but it was just by Allah's mercy that it was fulfilled for you.
Yeah, these will be.
And in that same moment, you could be in that situation with that person.
So generally, this arrogant attitude is because I rightfully deserve that guidance myself. It's not that it's given to me. If I realize that I have been needy for guidance and it's given to me, then I will appreciate its beauty and value and be thankful to its giver. And likewise, I would be seeking for somebody else to get the same thing. So if I am having, no matter where, physically, spiritually, whatever, not in favor of encouraging feeding of the needy, then it's because I take what I have for granted. It's mine. Again, it goes back to yukadhibu bid-din. I am denying the fact that I was provided in the first place for guidance, for physical wealth that I am given, for psychological feelings and whatnot I am given. I take them as, oh, they are here, they are mine. You have a comment there?
Yeah, when we take it to ourselves, like when starting from the beginning, being like I have a debt to something, so I don't own anything. I'm in a constant need of everything, including my the life. So I'm a miskin. And how I satisfy all these needs, I cannot. And when I look at the universe, I don't see any, the source that I can beg for satisfaction either. So how am I going to feed all these needs in me? Then it goes back to making a connection with your creator, realizing how these needs can be satisfied, and asking for him, worshiping the source of your needs and the satisfaction. So having this proper understanding of your needs, because when you look at your needs, you can also take them as weaknesses. Like I'm a needy, and I realize that, but I treat them simply as weaknesses, and there's no, the feeling there, because nothing can satisfy. You try working harder, earning more money, and so on and so forth, but nothing would help. So what you should do then, find the only thing that can satisfy your need, which is the like giving the proper food to your needs.
Okay, so this is like as Atik was doing for me being a team, or repassing that aspect of me, and now there is this needy aspect of me and I am trying to cover it up or do not acknowledge that I am constantly needy, which needs to be provided, but pretend as if I am a strong person or.
And the word dharma, like now I take it very, the elegant, because it's like a food, right? Like giving food. And not everything is food, like in the child example. So when they are hungry, for instance, chocolate is not food because it will not satisfy their need. It will even make it worse. So for your needs, your fundamental needs, you should find the food for them.
Mhm.
You cannot just, use other means to satisfy them, which is what we try to do usually.
Yep.
I have this fundamental need of being loved, and I try to satisfy it with, the other people,
Mhm.
or by being a famous person. But it's not a food for my need.
Mhm. Jazakallah khair. So we are off time reminder. So inshallah, next week we will study Fawailul lil Musallin. And here are a few of my questions. Woe then to those who pray or who do salat, الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ, who are heedless of their prayers. So I'm asking, Musallin, those who do salat, what does salat mean here would be my question. Who are they who are those Musallin would be the question we will ask. And الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ, they are heedless of their prayers. So there was an emphasis of that. They are not heedless in their prayers or salat, but they are heedless of their.
About.
Yeah. So it's not fi or min, but it's an. So they are heedless about their prayer, of the prayer as a whole, or their salat, let's put the word. Because I'm asking what does salat mean here? Because it might not necessarily mean prayer because of its the time it was revealed. As we know of about salat today, salat was not prescribed. So there are multiple meanings of that word here. Sahun is heedless. What does it mean to be heedless of salat would be another question. We can discuss these next week. And then الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاءُونَ. So those who do things only to be seen by others and refuse even small kindnesses. And the questions for this one are يُرَاءُونَ, to be seen by others. What would it mean to do salat, to be seen by others? This answer would be contingent upon our understanding of what salat means. And what is the motivation of my salat? So we will discuss that to make it personal. And what is the object or the destination of my salat? So these are the two questions I will ask there. And al-ma'un has multiple meanings, which is small kindness, or even in general, insignificantly small things, or making charity like zakat. So what constitutes those small things is one question that I ask here. And why and how does one refuse to make small kindnesses? Once we discuss this, inshallah, we are going to make an overall picture as well. So this is the plan for next week, inshallah. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر